Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another watch-along episode, live stream here, episode 73. Has it really been 73 episodes? It feels like I do try and wonder whether or not I'm actually getting the numbers right when it comes to episodes, but I just go by the last one and then just kind of add it on to 73, 74, 70, whatnot. So hopefully I should, in theory, by next year, by the start of 2026, if my calculations are correct, we should hit 100 episodes of this series. It started off as Snowflake's Watch, and now it's become the Watch Along series. Excuse me. I'm feeling a little bit bloated. I do have a massive migraine as well. I was actually contemplating not live streaming because the last time I had a massive migraine, I decided not to live stream. But I do want to talk about some of the stories that we're covering. So I've got a couple of video. I've got a couple of stories. But if we last an hour, great. If we last an hour and a half, great. But that's about the length as we'll go. But we'll go through each one as they go along, guys. So we're going to be covering obviously the stuff around Peter Mandelson. We're going to talk about what's been happening in the Middle East, the crisis in the Middle East, specifically Qatar, Israel, that kind of stuff. And I think I've got one or two other odd videos as well. But I do have, even though mental, and if we have time, I want to play one mental health video for you guys, because today is World Suicide Prevention Day. So, but I will be doing the mental health live stream tomorrow. But if we have time, I'll play that at the end of the show for you guys as well. Good morning, Jal. Good morning. Good evening, Jal. Good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. And anybody else who may be lurking in the chats. Right, let's get started here. Why is my settings like that? Okay, I don't know. Right, well, obviously, I will need my headphones because duh. So, for those who didn't watch PMQs, I wanted to play this, play some of a breakdown for it, because I do feel that, especially given the context of over Peter Mandelson was the main subject of discussion at Prime Minister's Questions. And I think this really does sum up the situation right now for the Labour government, and they really are in crisis. So I want to start with this one first, and then I will share my thoughts as we go along here, guys.
Well, that was a punchy Prime Minister's Questions this week, and unusually it was Keir Starmer on the ropes.
Isn't the link between all of this his bad decisions, his bad judgment, and his total weakness?
Yeah. Kemi Badenoch pinned him on the issue of his ambassador to the US, Lord Mandelson, and his very uncomfortable relationship with the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Let me start by saying the victims of Epstein are the forefront of our minds. He was a despicable criminal who committed the most heinous crimes and destroyed the lives of so many women and girls.
Just to recap, there have been more revelations overnight in the US about contact and exchanges between Lord Mandelson and Jeffrey Epstein, and the relationship between the US ambassador and the convicted paedophile that went on after Jeffrey Epstein's first convictions in 2008. Lord Mandelson says he very deeply regrets the friendship, which he describes as an albatross around his neck.
My knowledge of him is something that I regret. I wish I'd never met him in the first place.
And yet, hold on, I need to go back a little bit. The way he ended that conversation, he ended it with like a slight smile. It's not showing it in the clip there, but
thing that I regret. I wish I'd never met him in the first place.
There, look, like the way that, like, straight away, like, we're gonna come to one or two clips of him talking as well, but this screams for me like, you're not taking this fucking seriously. That's what it screams to me. That's what it screams to me, this whole situation. I mean, and I'm going to play a bit from one or two other places as well, but it just feels like to me, like, I don't know how he's still in his role. It's insane. And PMQs was the first time where really Keir Starmer got thrashed by Kemi Badenoch. And you're not supposed to get thrashed by someone as dumb and stupid as Kemi Badenoch. And he got thrashed by her. And it was brutal.
The Prime Minister clearly really uncomfortable about all of this, and so he should be, because not only does Lord Mandelson say that he regrets the friendship, but he also indicates that there is plenty more correspondence.
Happy birthday, Jeffrey. I love you. There's Peter and Jeffrey.
Still to come, and that means this story is not going away, and Keir Starmer is really on the ropes.
I have confidence in the ambassador in the role that he is doing.
I think it is embarrassing that the Prime Minister is still saying that he has confidence in a man who is brokering deals with convicted child sex offenders.
And just to press home how awkward this is for the Prime Minister, have a little look at this exchange.
Yeah, this next clip here was, I think, was the real hammer blow to Keir Starmer here, because this comes off the back of a cabinet reshuffle that Keir Starmer had done, right? He just had to let go of Angela Rayner, and right up in the run up and that Prime Minister's questions, you could hear him saying, "Yeah, I have full confidence in Deputy Prime Minister," all this kind of stuff, and now she's gone, complete cabinet reshuffle. Now there's going to be a run for the Deputy Labour leadership. Yeah, this is a real killer blow here.
Just last week, I told him that he should sack his Deputy Prime Minister, and he's got a totally new front bench. So I will ask him again, will he make sure that these documents are published, and will he actually instruct Peter Mandelson to publish all his correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein?
Mr. Speaker, I see she's finally catching up with the questions that she should have asked last week about the Deputy Prime Minister.
I had to go back and look at that exchange again because I thought I'd misheard it. It was such an odd thing for the Prime Minister to say, criticising Badenoch for not asking him more questions about Angela Rayner's tax affairs at last week's Prime Minister's questions. It's a very odd way to deflect from the current situation he's dealing with, which is Lord Mandelson. And that suggests to me that that is a Prime Minister uncomfortable. That was probably a misstep, and the benches were stony silent.
Yeah, they were not very happy whatsoever, the benches whatsoever with regards to it. And yeah, it was really really quite brutal indeed. Didn't get the notification. Turn off and turn back on your notifications if that's the case. Benjamin, good to see you there. Just randomly came on YouTube, found you all. Nice. Yeah, I'm normally on Wednesday at 8 p.m, but obviously not everybody always knows, and there's always other things going on and whatnot. Like I said, there's quite a lot of clips to play, so I want to share this one from PMQs for those who didn't see this here. I thought this was quite again adding the brutality of just how serious the situation is for the Prime Minister over the Peter Mandelson scandal.
Lord Mandelson has admitted to continuing his relationship long after Epstein was convicted, and that there are more embarrassing details we don't yet know. Mr. Speaker, people will be surprised by the Prime Minister giving Ambassador Mandelson such strong support today. So can he tell the House, has the Prime Minister asked the Ambassador what other compromising material the Trump administration might have on him as he leads Britain's negotiations with the White House?
Well, Mr. Speaker, as I've made clear to the House, a full due process was gone through when the appointment was made.
The thing is, and there's a clip, I think I've still got it on here, from 2019 about, he was asked about this as well, about Peter Mandelson. And it screams more and more to me. The more information I was looking up, the more I realised that I think Keir Starmer knew about this. I think he knew about this, and he still went ahead with the appointment. And I think that the reason why the Trump administration, who weren't originally on board with Mandelson, then they find out about his connection to Jeffrey Epstein. And because of that connection that Donald Trump has to Epstein, because of Peter Mandelson's connection to Epstein, that's where the things smoothed over, shall we say, between them. And I think that's why Trump gave the nod to him, because of their connection to Jeffrey Epstein. And I believe that is the main reason why he got the nod in the end. Because let's remember, all in getting an appointment from Donald Trump was difficult enough as it was. So yeah, He has no morals, values, or principles, and he'll defend Peter Mandelson up until the point he needs it. He thinks he need until the point he thinks that he needs to for his own career. Zach Polanski pulls no punches on Keir Starmer, and rightfully so. I haven't watched the full thing, but Zach Polanski was watching PMQs along with Politics Joe. He has been out and about. He has been on so many podcasts, so many interviews. This guy is making grounds in many places, Zach.
Keir Starmer yesterday called me and the Green Party plastic progressives, and I don't like to name call, but this is the man who is cutting disability benefits, reducing welfare for some of the most vulnerable people, ongoing a genocide in Gaza. And so I don't name call, but actually I do want to ban, plastics, and I don't want empty plastic containers. And that's ultimately what the Prime Minister is at that point, when we see that kind of speech that he gave at that dispatch box. This is a man who stands for nothing. He has no morals, no values, no principles, and he will defend Peter Mandelson up until the point he thinks he needs to for his own career. And I think that's the only thing he cares about at this point.
Yeah, it's absolutely I really do think the clock is really starting to tick on Keir Starmer with all of this. So, Peter Mandelson admits to his continued relationship Epstein after he was convicted. How on earth can he stay on as ambassador? So, let's hear from him, from the madman himself, and you can judge for yourself on what he says here.
One, I feel a tremendous sense, a profound sense of sympathy for those people, those women who suffered as a result of his behaviour and his illegal criminal activities. And secondly, I regret very, very deeply indeed carrying on that association with him for far longer than I should have done. And I regret very much that I fell for his lies. I fell and accepted assurances that he had given me about his indictment, his original criminal case.
This just feels so fake. The way he's talking about it, the way his facial expressions, how he looks here and looking at the camera, his facial expressions, the way he's talking about it here, and the tone of it does not come across to me as someone who is genuinely sorry, who is generally upset about this, who's generally wishing that he didn't have a relationship. It feels scripted, what he is saying here. It feels very scripted. And I hate when something as serious as this is being scripted.
In Florida, like very many people, I took at face value what he said. With hindsight, with fresh information, many years later, we realized that we had been wrong to believe him. He's a charismatic criminal liar, we now see. And I regret very much indeed, I felt it like an albatross around my neck since his death in 2018 or 19 when it was. I feel a tremendous sense of regret, not only that I met him in the first place, but that I continued the association and I took at face value the lies that he fed me and many others.
It just cannot buy what this guy's saying. You just cannot buy what he says, guys. It just feels so fake. Like I said, the way he's speaking about this, I don't feel that there is a sense of guilt and remorse from the feeling of this. It's just not feeling it as well. Good evening, Mithral. Hope you are doing well. Have you seen about Charlie Kirk getting shot originally? No, I have not heard about that. Trending Charlie Kirk. 1 second, chat. What happened then? He got shot. Was he murdered? So what? He was shot under. This was just 9 minutes ago. Possibly the most brainwashed person I ever saw. Breaking news: Charlie Kirk's been shot in the neck at the Utah Valley University. Disagree with him and other right wingers on almost every issue, but violence is not the way. Oh my god. Jesus. Okay, I'm not going to have time to show that, but yeah, I'm not going to show the footage. Obviously, I've just seen the footage. But absolutely, look, whatever you might think, like I've said this before, I'm going to well, I'm not going to cover it. I'm not going to cover it tonight, Mithril, but we don't know yet, but it took a bullet to the neck. Yeah, I just saw the footage. Look, listen, this is what I'm going to say about this. Like, I don't agree with him. I don't agree with his policies. I don't agree with a lot of things that the right wing says. But I said this about Donald Trump. As much as I despise and hate the man, I don't wish death upon anybody, even if I fundamentally disagree with them. And shooting someone, even if you have fundamental disagreements with them, does not solve anything. It doesn't solve the issue. All it does is embolden people on that side even more. That's all it's going to do. It's going to if he dies from that, it's only going to rally the people on the far right even more. That's all it's going to do. And he could be used as a martyr for the people on the right. That's my on it. It's a terrible, because you feel that you're doing a sense of justice by destroying a person in the world that poisons the minds of other people, when in fact all you're doing is galvanizing it, because all it's going to do is literally, it's like I don't know the analogy, but it's like when you chop off a snake's head and it grows another one back or something, or cutting off the branch of a tree, but the tree's just going to grow another branch. That is that kind of analogy. All you're doing is angering people. You're not solving anything with that. But I generally hope he doesn't die and that he recovers. I really sincerely mean that. There. Further down the rabbit hole, humanity goes to Stephen Banker. Yeah. When you saw enough hatred, it will come back on you. But I agree. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Obviously, I don't know enough information because it's literally just happened. But I really hope he doesn't die. And I hope the perpetrator gets caught or faces severe punishment, whatnot. But absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. So just carrying on here, guys, back to Peter Mandelson here. I don't buy what he says in any way, shape or form. Natalie Bennett was asked about this as well, listening to a few different others on the subject as well here. And let's hear what she had to say with it. I didn't want to take we will hear from West Street as a point of view on this as well.
So let's get back to the precarious position of Lord Mandelson, given his far too long, even he says, association with Jeffrey Epstein. Baroness Natalie Bennett, does he have to go? Is he finished?
Yes, absolutely. And I want to start by agreeing with David and Nashabar about we need to focus on the survivors in this case, the women who were victimised over long periods of time and treated astonishingly badly. But I think you raised rightly the issues around the birthday book, and it is just toe-curlingly awful. But I was actually sitting on the benches in the House of Lords last night at about 10 o'clock when the story dropped from the Telegraph. And this is when Lord Mandelson was Business Secretary. He got Jeffrey Epstein to broker a deal over the sale of a UK taxpayer-owned banking business after he had been convicted of child sex offences. So this is where Lord Mandelson was acting for the British state, and he enlisted a man who had been convicted of child sex offences to broker, to work on this deal, advising both Lord Mandelson and Jess Staley, who was a JP Morgan executive who's since been banned from the city over his relationship with Epstein. That's acting in the state. We've got the awful birthday book and now this.
What really infuriates me is that he knew. Peter look, I'm just going to say, just point it out there. Peter knew. He knew exactly who he was. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he allowed it to happen. He knew the influence that this man had, and even after being found convicted, he still tried to cover it up. Still tried to continue a relationship with it. The fact that he still did work for him after being convicted, that's just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Now, I know that that there may be some argument, because like I always say, I always try to put myself in the shoes of other people, guys. there may be some arguments that perhaps Jeffrey Epstein is so powerful that you can't touch this man. Because remember, this guy was very powerful. He had huge influence in many, many places, yeah? There was a story, I think there was once, about someone tried to go to the FBI, and the FBI basically... And the FBI basically told one of the victims to basically fuck off, basically, because, you know, he had connections within the FBI. This guy had influences everywhere, Jeffrey Epstein. So there's a part of me that thinks that the reason why perhaps Peter Mandelson didn't turn on him was because he was scared of the power that this man had, despite the fact that he was still a convicted sex offender, despite the fact that he knew the kind of person he was. I don't know if that's true or not, but we do know that he was that dangerous, he was that powerful. Even after this. This is the politics of no consequences. Blair's New Labour were masters of this. No, absolutely. You know, I don't know about Tony Blair and his involvement. But there's more revelations about Peter Mandelson in there that we don't know about as well. There's more to come. That's the worst thing. There's more to come. Now, as of right now, we don't know if Peter Mandelson actually had relationships with these women. I'm just going to say that. We don't know that. Okay? We don't know that yet. So I'm not going to make that accusation, but it's entirely possible. But we don't know that because the file hasn't been released yet. But there's a very succinct possibility of that. Person, good to see you there. And Scott, anybody else lurking in the chats as well. We honestly don't know that. So I wanted to share this. And thank you, Stan Stanford on Twitter for sharing this here. This is in January 2024, okay? So this was last year, January, okay? Starmer was asked if Mandelson had questions to answer over staying at Epstein's house in Manhattan, while the financier was in prison for soliciting prosecution from a minor. Starmer said he didn't know, and 11 months later he appointed Mandelson as ambassador to the US. Okay?
The FT did a report this summer on a JP Morgan report which suggested that Peter Mandelson had stayed at the New York townhouse of Jeffrey Epstein in 2009 when he was de facto deputy prime minister, and while the financier was imprisoned for soliciting prosecution from a minor. Do you think that Lord Mandelson, who is of course a close political ally of yours, has some questions to answer?
Jim, let me just first, on Peter Mandelson, look, and I do try to give pretty full answers in these sessions. I don't know any more than you do, and therefore there's not really much I can add to what you already know, I'm afraid. And, you know, that's simply the state of the affairs. Thank you.
That's so. So the question was put last year in January, okay? So already, looks like, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know nothing. Well, surely he would have remembered this conversation. He would have remembered this, yeah? Surely someone would have said something there, yeah? Right? You would have thought so anyway. But no. Let's go a little bit further back, guys. Let's go back in a 2019 Dispatch investigation. Channel 4 Dispatches here revealed that Jeffrey Epstein and Lord Mandelson were close friends who had business relationships while Epstein served time for sex offences. This is in a 2019 Dispatches investigation. 2019, guys. Okay?
Now, you visited Epstein when he was in jail. Can you describe what conditions he was kept under?
Well, firstly, it wasn't a jail. He was actually spending the night in his bed in the local police station. He was allowed out during the day to his office.
Epstein was free to continue to conduct business as usual, and our source says he witnessed an intriguing phone call.
While I was there, he received a call and said, "Hello, Petey." And he chatted away. And Petey wanted to meet Jamie Dimon, who was then the chairman of JP Morgan. And by the time he said, "Yes, I'll sort it out," put the phone down, and Petey turned out to be none other than the Secretary of the Board of Trade, Peter Mandelson. I was astonished that a British cabinet minister at that time, probably the most powerful man other than the Prime Minister, was calling Jeffrey in jail to make an appointment or to seek an appointment with a very powerful banker in New York.
In 2005, Peter Mandelson had been snapped casually shopping with Epstein in the US Virgin Islands.
But I think it demonstrated that as far as Jeffrey was concerned, life was carrying on as if nothing had happened.
And the phone call worked.
Yeah, no, it was sorted out.
Did you get a sense from him how well he knew Peter Mandelson?
Well, clearly you don't call Peter Mandelson Petey if you're not a close friend.
In a statement for this programme, lawyers for Lord Mandelson said,
"Our client has no recollection of a telephone conversation with Mr. Epstein in January 2009, in which he allegedly requested that Mr. Epstein set up a meeting with Jamie Dimon, chairman and CEO of JP Morgan. Our client would have no need whatsoever to make such a request. As business secretary, he met or talked on the phone to bank CEOs on a regular basis, including Mr. Dimon. These contacts were all arranged through his government office."
2019. The evidence is very clear. Starmer knew who he was. They knew behind closed doors that Peter Mandelson's connection. And they still put him in that position. Russell Cannon, good to see you there. Simon says 55 as well. And given that, I was wondering what his internet with Epstein was in the first place, unless it was just power connections. Come on, Starmer, sack him for F's sake. You're the guy who everyone expects to play it straight. Yeah, he's not playing it straight anymore. He's long past playing it straight. He's lost it. He's already lost it as far as playing it straight goes. I want to play a bit from the news agents as well, because I'm going to share some of the language and comments, some of the things that you may not have read in the birthday card if you haven't seen it already.
Contributed to it knew.
Let me start from the beginning.
I'm not saying that everybody who contributed to it knew, but there were clearly a lot of people who contributed to that book who understood what Epstein's proclivities were. There is even a message from our own ambassador in Washington, Peter Mandelson, calling Epstein a great pal. And I'm actually going to read you out a bit more of the message. He says, "No sooner were you used to having him around, you'd suddenly be left alone again." He calls Epstein an intelligent, sharp-witted man, mysterious, who parachutes into your life. He left you with some interesting friends to entertain instead, or just some dogs to keep you company. He wasn't always so keen on them. And then he'd parachute back in. You'd meet him in one of his glorious homes he likes to share with his friends, yum yum. But wherever he is in the world, he remains my best pal. Now, Lord Mandelson has been contacted for a response.
I just want to comment on the part where he says yum yum. Like that right there is, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what that is. Like, how is that not a red flag? How is that not a big like, whoa, what the fuck sort of thing? You know, if I'm like, I'm sorry, but if I'm somebody in Labour, I'd be screaming, I'd be literally screaming to the cabinet. Like, if I was in that cabinet, if I was an MP, I'd be screaming, saying, why the fuck have you not sacked this guy? Like, are you guys mad? Like, have you read what this guy said? Like, I'd be screaming on the phones, on the WhatsApp messages, saying, what the hell are you guys doing? Get rid of this person. Like, I literally would be doing that. And if they didn't, I'd walk out and say, I can't associate myself with a party that is defending somebody like that, who called him his best pal. I can't defend that. I would walk out. And I think it's utterly shameful of every single Labour MP, shameful of every single one of them, who sat there in silence, knowing, now that they know what the public know about him, and are going to try and defend him. It's beyond shameful. And it's, you know what's even more shameful is the women on those front benches, in those back benches. All those women there who try to empower themselves and empowering women and whatnot. How must they be feeling about this, knowing that their Prime Minister is defending a person who actually considers them their best pal, there's a paedophile. I don't know about you, but I would be sitting very uncomfortable in Labour right now if I was a woman. I really would.
And he said at the time, he regretted ever being introduced to Epstein. He regretted the introduction of Epstein. You understand that as a voice of regret, but it doesn't really answer the question of why, on the man's 50th birthday, he's calling him his best pal. I think there are quite a lot of questions that this book raises, and not least Bill Clinton. President Clinton is in the book as well, talking about the kind of entertainment that Epstein liked. There are lots of names, they're not redacted.
I haven't looked it up yet, and I haven't looked at Bill Clinton, but specifically I want to look at Peter Mandelson because obviously he's our ambassador mainly.
You can go through the list and see for yourself just what people around Epstein were saying about him, drawing for him, or thought about him.
Yeah, and it is a trove of potential stories and potential deep embarrassments and worse for those associated with it. I mean, the book spans to more than 200 pages. It's bound into 3 volumes, collection of letters, photographs, drawings from dozens of people that Epstein knew. But of course, the political heat is going to be strongest and shine brightest on Trump himself, obviously, because he's the president. And, you know, we've talked so many times, Emily, and with John as well, you know, sort of day in, day out covering this sort of second Trump term, how different it has felt since the beginning, since the first one, not least because Trump feels so much more hegemonic, so much more powerful. He feels there are virtually no checks on his power anymore. Congress has basically gone to sleep. The Supreme Court is doing whatever he wants. He has been king of all he surveyed. The one thing which has been a cloud on that political horizon, and a dark one at that, is this Epstein scandal and these documents.
Yeah, it is the one thing that has the potential to take him down, potentially. But yeah, as far as Peter Mandelson goes, it's absolutely insane. Mithril says this gives so much ammunition to the hard right. Won't someone think of the children brigade? Exactly. This also gives ammunition to Reform UK as well. Nigel Farage, unless Nigel Farage appears in it, which he hasn't. I don't think he will, guys. I don't think he will. But it gives him carte blanche to say, throw more ammunition, throw more feet to the fire of Labour as well. And maybe there's a part of me that's thinking, maybe, just maybe, guys, maybe there'll be a false general election sooner than we expected. Maybe Farage is right. Maybe there will be an early general election if Labour can't get to grips with things, because right now it's absolutely all over the place. Talk about throwing yourself to the lions. Who are the advisors? Because they're crap, says Scott. Yeah, that's it. It's who are the advisors as well. So the man who should be shot out of a cannon, because I've always wanted to see him get shot out of a cannon, the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, tries to defend the indefensible here on Sky News. How do you think he did?
Oh, I think our ambassador has made it very clear that he deeply regrets ever having been introduced to Epstein, and frankly, given what we all now know about the way he conducted himself and the appalling testimony we've heard from Epstein's victims, who would want to be associated with him, frankly.
So it doesn't lead to a change in ambassador or any consideration of that?
No, I don't think we should regard everyone as guilty by association. I think that the important thing is Epstein's victims receive the justice now and the platform now to tell their stories.
Oh, if that's the case, so if you're so concerned about the victims, Wes, you're so concerned about the victims, are you aware that the victims are calling for Mandelson to be sacked? Because surely if you care so much about the victims here, yeah, if you really do care about the victims, you will listen to their heed and hear them. What they say is that Peter Mandelson should be sacked from his role as ambassador. Because they've said that for those who watch Premier's Questions, that was brought up. The victims, Kemi Bracknott brought it up in her questions, that the victims are calling for him to be sacked. And surely you're not going to disrespect the victim's wishes now, are you, West Streeting, by ignoring that? You're talking here, right here, about them. Surely they're as if you're talking so much to care about them. Surely if they are calling for his sacking, surely you're not going to say no to that, right?
To receive the hearing and the justice that comes from transparency and being now able to speak out in a way that sadly they weren't able to do while Epstein was alive. And it's really important that victims are believed, that they're given the space to set out their experiences, and that the justice that was not applied to Epstein in life can at least tarnish his name in death.
The only slight hints of credit that I can give to West Streeting is that he talks about this he talks about it in a way. He's very calm and he's very slow with his speaking about this because of the seriousness of it. It doesn't change the fact that he's defending a man who was very close to Jeffrey Epstein here. Mithril says this is the sort of thing that would have brought governments down years ago, but they no longer have any shame or moral compass. Yes, yeah. Yes, Jao, we talked briefly about it earlier. There, is literally as I went live, somebody mentioned it to me, and I did actually just see saw the footage of him being shot as well. I did not share that on the live stream, but yeah, I don't know obviously if he'll survive or not, but I've already commented on it already. It was in the Mandarin files. Job denied. Next. Here was him asked on the Harry Cole show, asking if he wants the Epstein files to be released. He said he's not on the list, but he knows there are lots of correspondence in emails between them that will come out.
For all those years.
Donald Trump, President Trump seems reluctant to clear the decks on this one. Would you be in a personal capacity be supportive of the Epstein files, so-called Epstein files being released?
That's not a matter for me. That's
a personal matter, as someone who's potentially named in them, would you have any problem with them being published?
I don't believe I'm named in Epstein files. I have no doubt at all that there's a lot of traffic, correspondence,
emails,
exchanges
letters
between us. Absolutely.
Okay, so he's admitting that there's going to be more content coming out of him, but he's saying that he's not in the Epstein files.
And we know those are going to surface. We know they're going to come out. We know they're going to be very embarrassing. And they know that I'm going profoundly to regret ever having met him and been introduced to him in the first place. But I can't rewrite history. What I can do, is express my profound sympathy for those who are badly treated.
I wonder. I haven't watched the full Harry Cole thing because Harry Cole's an arsehole. But I do wonder if he ever used the words "I'm sorry" once in that interview. I don't know if any of you put yourself through that, and I wouldn't blame any of you for doing so. But do you think he would have used the word "sorry"? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably not. And I'm just gonna say that there. Adding more fuel to the fire, Labour Deputy Leadership Candidate Paula Baker, former friend of Jeffrey Epstein, Peel manager, should not be US Ambassador. So, obviously, there is some of this is also ammunition for people who are vying for that top spot to try and get that deputy role, so they can oust Keir Starmer and take his position of power. Because again, it's all about politics. It's all about power to all these people.
Do you think that Peter Mandelson is the right candidate to be the US ambassador?
I personally no. If we listen to the Prime Minister during the general election campaign, he spoke about how we were going to clean up politics. He spoke about our standard system and having faith in our politicians.
Yeah, he's done such a great job of it, guys. He's done such a great fucking job of it. Yeah, restoring faith in politics, The kind of language that's been coming out of his mouth, like the island of strangers, that's definitely a line that's definitely restores my faith in politics. When we hear politicians like Nigel Farage wanting to deport children and women, you know, from from the UK, you know, that's definitely restores my feeling in politics. It definitely restores my feeling in politics when we have a Conservative Party that was in power for 14, 15 years, a bunch of politicians that still don't have the word sorry in their fucking vocabulary, you know, that still have the same old batshit people in their shadow cabinet because they can't be fucked yet to actually wake up and realise, oh, maybe we should actually change our leadership and change our cabinet over and get fresh faces in because, you know, because we fucked up the country after 14 years. Maybe it would make a bit of logical sense if we actually started with a fresh face. You know, I don't know, you know, maybe, you know, but, you know, restoring faith in politics, you know, definitely after a year, we definitely feel that politics has been restored, right? Right?
And I think there is serious questions over Peter Mandelson with Epstein.
No shit.
I'm horrified by what I've seen in the media this morning. And I think that the Prime Minister should think very, very carefully about whether or not he is the right man for the job in Washington.
He's not the right man for the job. It's pretty clear he's not the right man for the job. Alison Keir, good to see you there, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Been listening for a wee while. All good, buddy. All good. Not everyone is able to chat because they're traveling, working, whatever. It's all well and good. So some people are just lurking, which is fine. End up dragging all of it out, so they have to be alive out of 150 years or suffer all consequences. Helena said it. Helena already said it on her live. Already said it when talking about it. Like, he's going to be gone. I 100% agree with her. It is not a matter of if he's going to go. It's a matter of when. I think Max has also said the same thing. He is going to go. Whether it's just a matter of when he's going. And the longer he lets it drag out, the worse it's going to get. And I personally think he should just axe him now. He should just axe him now. Take the fucking hit. Yeah, if you know, take the fucking hit like a man. Yeah, and accept you fucked up and you pointed the wrong person. Yeah, and start afresh. Like, just take the fucking hit. You know, he's keeping him in there just to appease Trump because obviously Trump and Peter obviously were both fans of Epstein. And we already covered that one. So, yeah. I don't think we need to cover any more on it. But, yeah, Peter Mandelson, the clock is ticking on him. It's absolutely, the clock is ticking on him, guys. So I just want to say, before we carry on, guys, thank you guys all for being here. I really, really appreciate it. We're going to be switching gears over into the Middle East in just a moment. But just a reminder, if you can, hit the like button, share it across social media as well. Please feel free, please do that if you can. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Help me. I would really like to get to 2,500 subscribers by the end of the year. Ideally, we would like to get 3,000, but I have to be realistic about the subscriber numbers and how they're going up. But if you can, please consider subscribing to help me achieve that number before the end of the year. It is going to be tough to get to 2,500 between now and Christmas. But if you guys can help me do that, please do. And also, thank you, Mithril, for the £2 super chat. I know it's not much, I know, but here's a few coins. Honestly, thank you so much. That is extremely generous of you, my friend. Thank you for your support. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. And as Mithril just said there, yeah, if you guys can help me reach today's super chat goal, it would also be greatly appreciated as well there. But if you can't financially support me, best way to do so, hitting the like, sharing, subscribing, leaving comments down on videos, watching some of the content, that kind of stuff really does help boost the algorithm, and leaving comments also boosts the algorithm. All that stuff really does help the channel. So just wanted to put that out there, guys. So thank you so much. If you do any of those stuff, guys, it is greatly appreciated. So we touched on it this morning on the Good Morning Show, if you were there, guys, about what happened in Qatar specifically. So Qatar, I'm actually going to play this clip first because I think this one speaks volumes about just how significant this is. And I mentioned it this morning about how many countries have been hit by Israel in 2025. This clip here by Al Jazeera really does speak volumes about just how I feel about what happened last night in Qatar. So Qatar is the 6th country attacked by Israel this year. So there you've got Lebanon, you got Yemen, You got Gaza, you got Iran, you now got Qatar, and you've got Syria. Because remember, a government building was hit in Syria as well. And that's not counting things that they're doing in the West Bank as well. Just to add on top of all this. Yeah? So you have 6 different countries, as well as the West Bank being targeted here. Yeah? But, you know, but Israel are the good guys, you know? America says Israel are the good guys, right? Because the good guys wouldn't be a blatant aggressor. I'm going to share a clip with you later from Benjamin Netanyahu to just remind you of just how vile this man is as well. Within the same 24 hours, Israel bombed 4 Middle East nations. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit just because of this noise. Israel airstrikes target military sites in Syria. This was 2 days ago. Israel continues to target Hezbollah in Lebanon despite a ceasefire deal. This was yesterday. Israel continues to bombard Gaza ahead of its plan to siege Gaza City. This was yesterday, inside Gaza City. This video catches the moment Israel targeted Hamas negotiators in Qatar. This was yesterday. This is those who gathered to discuss a US peace proposal to end Israel's war on Gaza. At least 6 people were killed after at least 10 airstrikes on the building. The assault was widely condemned as a violation of Qatar's sovereignty, and it is. So let me go back just quickly on what he said there. We cannot call it anything other than state terrorism. This is from Qatar. And by the way, Qatar by the way, they are neutral. They have tried to be neutral, a neutral ground to try and sort out negotiations here as well. Like, I have my reservations about the country, and I have reservations about certain countries in the Middle East, including Qatar. But what happened to them was completely unfounded. And not only that as well, they are a very high tourist population destination as well to people as well. And Israel missed the Hamas representatives in Qatar, by the way. Yes, they did miss the leaders they were targeting, and they also killed innocent people in the process as well. In August, Israel bombed Yemen again, killing the Houthi prime minister. Remember, the prime minister of Houfi's prime minister was murdered as well. I don't have as much sympathy for the Houthis because of the damage that they are causing in Yemen because of the civil war. I don't have as much sympathy as I do for some of the other attacks, if I'm honest, guys. And 11 other senior officials after Houthi attacks on Israel and Red Sea shipping. But any kind of loss of life should be condemned utterly. This is when the Houthis responded after what happened. The Houthis said that their actions are in response to Israel's genocide on Gaza. They sunk their ship, the Houthis. Israeli ship. In June, Israel started a war with Iran, claiming its nuclear program as well. Remember, and this is also as well when the US did some bombing strikes as well in this, which claimed that they posed a threat to the region. And we spoke about this yesterday, where Israel is also suspected of targeting 3 flotilla boats trying to break the Gaza siege. This was in Tunisia. This was at Tunisia, by the way. Yeah.
The drone approached and dropped an incendiary device that blew up, and they put the boat on fire.
That was in and that was in Tunisia, right? Yeah, that's not even a Middle East country. Now, I'm not saying, we don't know. There's no evidence to say that Israel was responsible for that, but we can assume that Israel were responsible for that. So if you can count Tunisia as another country that was attacked as well, because that was inside Tunisian international waters. That was inside their waters. Yeah, the boats were in Tunisia at that time as well. Israel repeatedly claims its strikes against the region are targeting terrorist groups. This was in Yemen, Sama. Most of those targets oppose Israel's illegal occupation. For all the civil war that's taking place, the people in Yemen are very much united against Israel here. This is in Lebanon again. Under international law, no country has the right to attack another, unless it's acting in self-defense or the UN Security Council's approval.
All of this is part of a pattern in which there has been no accountability to this point. Part of the crisis, if you will, of this international system has been the fact that it can confer sovereignty on whomever it wills. And so we've seen all of the states that we've just mentioned not enjoy the right to sovereignty because it's been violated repeatedly with no actual consequences.
And Israel's killed at least 70,000 people in its wars across the Middle East. Majority of which is inside Gaza, of course. And I thought that was a very powerful piece there from Al Jazeera, really highlighting just how dangerous things are right now in the Middle East. Alston Keir makes a great point. If they keep poking at Arab countries, I can see an Arab coalition attacking Israel, and the US will join Israel, dragging in the UK. That's why defense spending is going to be going up in the UK. Just my opinion. The weird thing is, and this is going to sound a bit weird, in a way here, but some of these countries are still working in tandem with Israel when it comes to weapons and supplies as well. There as well. I should take you straight to the clip, shouldn't I? The main one. Where is it? Oh, I don't have it here. Yeah, I'm going to come back to this actually. 1 second. I'm going to switch over to this one. So let me show you, let me explain what this video is of Netanyahu. This is a leaked video in 2001 that shows Benjamin Netanyahu talking about how Israel intentionally strikes Palestinians. Quote, "We must hit Palestinians hard, take them to the state of panic and fear, and the world will not say anything. How he deceives the US to break the Oslo Accords, and more." So watch very carefully the text that is put down on here as well, guys. It's very, very important. And this shows you just how vile and evil, and I don't like to use the word evil much, guys, but it shows just how evil this man is, okay?
שהמחיר יהיה כבד מנשוא, כרגע המחיר לא כבד מנשוא, על התקפה רבת היקף על הרשות הפלסטינית. נדבר לפחד שהכל מתמוטט. לא פוחדים, צוחקים להם, יראו לנו לתוך הישרת פה וצחוק ופשוט הם לא פוחדים. זה מה שמביא אותם ואז רגע, אבל אז השוק מהעולם יגיד מה, אתם כובשים? אתה לא מפחד מהעולם, ביבי. במיוחד היום עם אמריקה, אני יודע מה זה אמריקה. אמריקה זה לא שאפשר להזיז אותו בקלות, להזיז לכיוון הנכון. לא יפריעו לנו.
Let me pull that back bit there. America is something that you can easily move. Bear in mind, this is 2001. This is 2001 here. America is something you can easily maneuver and move in the right direction. And even if they say something, so then they say something, so what? So he's already got the mindset, right, of this is 2001, yep. Now there have been times where Israel had pushed buttons and they've been pushed back for it. Netanyahu is like, who gives a fuck? I'm going to do whatever I want. No one's going to stop me. And the Americans are too soft. And he really takes advantage of the situation. He really does take advantage of the situation here. There's a kid sitting next to him. Yeah, you have to remember, these kids are all down the same mindset. 80% of American supports. Now, that's not the same as it is now. Look, I wasn't afraid to maneuver the Clinton administration. I wasn't afraid to confront Clinton. I wasn't afraid to go against the UN. What happened with the Oslo Accords? The Accords which were ratified by Parliament. I was asked before the 1996 elections. Will you fulfill them? I said yes, subject to reciprocity and minimizing pullouts. I gave my own interpretation to the agreement in such a way that would allow me to stop the race back towards the 1967 borders. How did we manage to do this? Nobody defined what military facilities are. I also defined them being security zones. The entire Jordan Valley for me is a military facility. Nobody has, yes, like the Beit Shen Valley. You see, go figure. But then there was the question of who will defy these military facilities. I received a letter from the Secretary of State, Warren Christopher, to me and Afrad at the same time, saying that Israel and Israel alone will defy the military facilities, their locations and size. Now, they didn't want to give me this letter, so I refused to ratify the Hebron Accords of 1997. I stopped the government meeting and said I won't sign, and only when the letter has arrived during that meeting, to me and Afred, I signed the Hebron Accords. And it's better to give 2% than 100%, and this is the choice we face. You gave 2%, but you stopped the withdrawal rather than the 100%. This man did not, essentially, what this is basically saying here is essentially he did not give two shits about the consequences. He was going to break all break off all kinds of things. I'm sorry, Stephen Baker. I wasn't aware that the footage I was going to show was too much. I didn't think it was too much. I do apologize. I wasn't aware of it was. I didn't realize it was too much, that footage for you. So I do apologize for that, Stephen. I should have given a disclaimer. I suppose it was just the child was too much there. So my apologies for that. But yeah, it just once again reinforces just how nasty these people are, guys.
This bombing of Hamas's headquarters in Doha is yet another sign that the world has to recognize as the truth. Neither the United States nor Israel are interested in actually having a negotiated end to this war. If we summarize what we're looking at, days ago, the President of the United States gave Hamas a proposal that was 100 words long. So while they're deliberating this proposal from the United States President, who said that he now wants to take the direct lead in negotiating an end to the war, you have Israel bombing the headquarters of the political leadership of Hamas, targeting the very people who would be on the other side of the negotiating table. The United States gave its consent to the operation. There's a question of was the U.S. directly involved with it?
One expert called the attack in Qatar, which hosts a nation there, which hosts the last US base in region. Potential warship.
This isn't an anomaly. This is an operating plan. This is why they assassinated Ismail Haniyeh, the former political leader of Hamas and chief negotiator, last year in Iran, while they were also negotiating a ceasefire agreement. And it's reminiscent of the dirty operation that Trump pulled when Israel and the United States launched their 12 days of sustained bombing of Iran. It was supposedly going to be a continuation of negotiations between the US and Iran, and they used that as cover to attack Iran. Now, I'm not saying that the United States set this up as an intelligence operation, but because the United States track record is out in the open, and because Trump's recent track record is out in the open, there are serious questions that we have to ask about the extent of US involvement in this attack inside of the boundaries of a sovereign state, Qatar, against the political leadership of an organization the US claims it wants to negotiate with.
The US are pretty much in bed with Israel, if we haven't already figured it out. But yeah, they don't want to cease.
We need to be very clear, whether it was Joe Biden or Donald Trump, the point of the so-called ceasefire negotiations was never to lead to a resolution of dignity or justice for Palestinians. For 76 years, Palestinians have been subjected to a US-backed Israeli war of annihilation. And the past 2 years have been a very intense, massively, murderously bloody microcosm of the past 76 years of history.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case there. No worries, Benjamin. I hope I can understand if it's too much for some people. I hope you will join me tomorrow night for the mental health live stream, because there will be one tomorrow, guys. We're going to have mental health live stream tomorrow, guys, and we will talk about suicide prevention, mental health, depression, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you can join me for that at least. So I can understand if it's a bit too much for some people. This happened yesterday here. Maduro was arrested for asking his representative Dao Eska a simple question: what does he think about Israel bombing Qatar? Instead of investigating Israel for bombing Qatar, Yemen, Palestine, Lebanon, instead of investigating Israel, Congress shields Israel and silence peace activists here.
This is a totally bogus arrest for me asking a member of Congress what he thought about Israel bombing Qatar, instead of investigating Israel for bombing 7 countries. Qatar, Yemen, of course Palestine, Lebanon, yesterday Tunisia, Syria. Israel needs to be investigated. It's slaughtering people every day. It is starving people every day. That's what needs to be investigated. Israel, not a non-violent peace activist that simply wants to hold members accountable. Please look up Daryl Issa and see how much money he has taken from AIPAC. He is somebody who is doing the bidding of AIPAC, doing the bidding of a foreign country, Israel. And us, the peace activists, who for almost 2 years now have been trying to stop the U.S. support for this genocide, are the ones who get arrested, harassed, and thrown into prison. Israel needs to be investigated, not me.
Yeah, but we know that's not going to happen, especially with both sides here. This very short clip here shows just how insane some of these people are. On Fox News, Israel's Rabbi Chem declared, "You're a terrorist and you're part of the October 7th attack. We're coming after you. We don't care if you're in Qatar. We don't care if you're in Lebanon. And it could even be in England. We'll get you."
You're a terrorist and you're part of October 7th. We're coming after you. And we don't care if you're in Qatar. We don't care if you're in Lebanon. And it could be even if you're in England. We'll get you.
We mentioned Qatar, and they went after people in Qatar, didn't they? Land of the free, but not of the brave, but of the cowardly, generally innocent people, says Zhao. Yeah. Yeah, indeed. This was very interesting. That plays into what happened in Doha as well, guys. The Qatari Prime Minister confirms that the US requested Qatar to put a Hamas office in Doha. I thought this was interesting.
You have a Hamas office here, and Hamas has been designated, I think, repeatedly by the U.S. government, certainly by the Congress, as a terror organization. And people say, well, how could you have a Hamas office here? What is that?
We have to go back to the root of this office, like why it's here in the first place. And Hamas office, when it was opened here in the first place, it was opened with full transparency and full consultation and actually even request from the U.S.
The U.S. asked you to put a Hamas office here?
They have asked us to open the channels with them and to have an established communication channel with the same case what was applied to Taliban as well. At the end of the day, if you have a presence of someone in your country and you are engaging and talking, it doesn't mean that you are endorsing his ideas. It doesn't mean that you are supporting him. The purpose of this office was to facilitate peace, to stabilize the region, and to make sure that always it's serving the purpose.
I thought that was very interesting. So that plays even more into the it. So did the US plan? Like we're now going down the rabbit hole speculation here, but did the US plan this as well to have this here so they could be used as a target here in Qatar? Not saying that is the case, but I do think that does raise questions there as well. Now, I don't know if this is an AI generated video, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was. But I thought that the map in this was worth looking at as well. Just a kind of from a geography perspective of just what's been happening here, guys.
Israel bombed Doha, right where America runs its largest airbase. Don't be fooled. No jet could cross those skies without U.S. approval. This wasn't Israel acting alone. It was a joint signal of power and betrayal. Every radar around Al Udeid Air Base would have tracked the attack. Washington's complicity is undeniable. By allowing this strike, the U.S. proved that Qatar's so-called ally status collapses the moment Israel demands protection. Qatar is now the 10th country hit by Israel since October 2023. From Gaza to Lebanon, from Syria to Iraq, Iran, Yemen, and Egypt, to international waters near Malta, the flotilla ship in Tunisia, and today, Doha. Netanyahu's doctrine erases all borders, expansion without restraint, violence without accountability. This is the blueprint of Greater Israel. Hamas leaders were in Doha, reviewing Donald Trump's latest ceasefire plan when Israel struck. This is the pattern. Dangle negotiations, keep them busy, then assassinate them mid-talks. Israel does not want peace, only impunity. Reports emerged that the delegation, headed by senior official Khalil al-Hayya, survived the Israeli strike in Doha. Sources told news outlets. But survival doesn't change the outcome. This was a blatant act of war, carried out with American cover. By green-lighting the Doha strike, Washington and Tel Aviv delivered one chilling message. Arab sovereignty exists only at Israel's convenience. No capital is safe, not even under America's shadow. What do you think this means for the region?
What do we think? I thought that was quite an interesting point as well, given the context of what's going on as well, guys. We're not going to see any more of that stuff, guys. Don't worry. All these people in power and consistent bad mood are also negative. Yeah. There are also machines there, and a fair field after discussion with purpose of them. Desire for total power corrupts people. Only those with a legitimate desire to help their fellow men are not a negative, says Jow. Yeah, agreed. I love Vulcans and the old EE lightings, but I hate that they were used for, says Mithril there as well. This right, so I'm going to share. I've only got a couple more videos, guys. What was the ones I had in? Just want to see what the ones I had here. Are they worth listening to? Nah. We'll stop at these couple more clips. I do have some very important clips as well as one funny video. And I say important as in because of today, because today is World Suicide Prevention Day. So I do have some clips I want to share with regards to that. But before we get to them, I just want to share these last two clips that I wanted to share with regards to Israel here. When they say they're not in bed, they are in bed, guys. So AIPAC controls U.S. Congressmen, women's. It's lobbying on behalf of interests of another country. Why are they not interested? Registered as a foreign lobby. Free USA from AIPAC, free Palestine. This really speaks volumes here, and the fact that this comes from Tucker Carlson of all people as well.
Never taken money from the Israel lobby, have you?
Taken money from the Israel...
From AIPAC.
So AIPAC raises a lot of money for me.
I'm going to turn the sound a little bit down because they've got that. Oh, look, that's quite a lot of money he's received there.
Money for me.
AIPAC is lobbying for a foreign government. And I don't... It's not.
No.
It's lobbying for the United States.
It wants America and Israel to be closely allied.
It's lobbying on behalf of the interests of another country.
So that's not true at all. And if
It's
you...
not true.
No.
How much contact do you think AIPAC leaders have with the government of Israel?
No idea. AIPAC are Americans, they're not Israelis.
Hold on. There are tons of Americans who lobby on behalf of foreign governments. I know them. I'm related to some of them. I know how it works. I'm from here. My only question is, why don't we admit that is what's happening? You're denying it, but it's true. Why aren't they registered as a foreign lobby? You're saying that they don't coordinate with the Israeli government.
Of course, I coordinate. Do they talk with them? I don't know what they do. I can tell you.
But why don't you care?
Why don't you care? Yeah. Yeah, Ted Cruz. Why don't you care? Just as no different than the rest of them. This is very, very powerful. I have not betrayed my people. It is they who have betrayed the tenets of Judaism, which were always full of compassion. Actor Miriam Margolis denounces Israel's treatment of Palestinians, showing that she has lost friends and family members over her outspoken views. Very powerful indeed here.
No friends have come back. I doubt whether I've changed anyone's minds. And some of the people that I've lost are people that I really loved and cared about and who welcomed me into their homes and are my relatives. But I feel as if the whole of North London has pulled up the bridges and says, no Miriam Margolyes can enter. I have continually and vocally on every channel that I can find said that we have been changed by Hitler. We have become Nazis because the treatment of the Palestinians, never mind what has been done to the hostages, which is appalling, of course, but we have become Nazis. And so we have been changed by Hitler, and therefore Hitler has won. And I think that phrase disgusted and appalled them, those who disagree, and they feel that I have betrayed my people. And I have not betrayed my people. It is they who have betrayed the tenets of Judaism, which were always full of compassion. I'm not a believer anymore, but it's nothing to do with that. That was my own journey. But what they are doing to the concept of Judaism and Jewishness is horrifying. And I am angry, and I am disappointed, and I'm bitterly hurt and shocked. I didn't know that Jewish people could behave like that. And they think that they're doing the right thing. I think I'm right. And it's not going to change minds the way I phrased it. But if I don't say what I really think, then I'm just being manipulative, trying to change people's minds. It's the facts that should change the minds. It's what they see on their screens of the bombing and the children and the numbers. And that's what should change their minds. Nothing that I can say will, but it is horrifying. And I'm I'm terribly sad about it. And I'm sad that I've lost the friends and the relatives. But history is on my side, and they are wrong.
What I find quite really powerful about this is that she says it's not even so much about me trying to win the argument. Is that the facts are right in front of them. The facts are right in front of them, and they still feel that there is a sense of what they're doing is justified and right. I've spoken before, not just even on here, but even on Rumble, because I talk a lot about the crisis in the Middle East. I've talking about how people in Israel are raised to think and feel a certain way about Palestinians, not just based on the history between the two sides, okay, but they are raised in a certain way so that Israelis do not see Palestinians as equals, that they do not see them as human beings, that they see them as less than dogs, less than vermin, as monsters, as demons, and that whatever they do to them is nothing inhumane, that is nothing wrong with that, that is perfectly justified based on what they have been taught, what they have been believed, all the way from time from when they have been from school, from what they have been raised up. Yeah, because remember, a lot of people in Israel are still very big supporters of Netanyahu, despite everything that this man is doing. They're still supporters of him. Yes, there are protests taking place in the country, but there are still many, many people who believe what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing and what his government are doing is completely and totally justified. Completely and totally justified. And it's been said many times, not just by government ministers, but by people basically saying, yeah, they all need to be kicked out of the West Bank. They all need to go. We can't have them anymore. Like they've all got to go, you know. And on a daily basis, they're being pushed out of their homes in the West Bank on a daily basis. Any Palestinians in Israel are subjected to racial abuse on a consistent basis as well. It's just it's really heartbreaking. And yet, despite the fact that there is countless evidence and videos on a daily basis being brought up by what the IDF are doing to these people, they should understand and know what they're doing is wrong. But because it's Palestinians, they see it differently. They think it's okay to do it. And they're wrong, but they don't think they're wrong. That's the problem. Because of what they've been raised to think and feel about Palestinian people. And I feel for her, and I feel for lots of many good Jewish people around the world who get subjected to racial abuse or discriminated upon simply because of them being Jewish or because they have connections to Israel. And this is the people who don't have any control or don't have any power with what's happening with the government and with state, who have been, whether it's living here in the UK or the US, who has no control of what their government is doing, and yet they get subjected to racial abuse or for assault or whatever, simply because of what this government in Israel are doing. It's brutal. So, this, I have to share this one. So I was going to stop there and share some really important videos, but I wanted to highlight this video here. Women's rights are under threat, guys. Going away from the Middle East, I wanted to share this video because I saw this video and I think we need to hear this. So foreigners are from a backwards, women-hating culture are influencing our politics and spreading dangerously, degrading messages about domestic violence. But Keir Starmer has invited their leader to a banquet with the king. How does he fit with your VAWG agenda? I would take this is very concerning, especially about how we feel about making sure we protect women's rights as well.
There is a war being waged against women right now, and it is being brought to our shores in the UK by foreigners who come from a backwards culture that does not respect our rights. A hyper-religious cult has taken over the White House, and that cult has no respect for women's rights. Check out what their dear leader had to say about us the other day.
Much lesser things that take place in the home, they call crime. You know, they'll do anything they can to find something. If a man has a little fight with the wife, they say, this was a crime, see? So now I can't claim 100%.
That is some of the most grossly offensive shit I ever heard. Any woman, and sadly, it is many of the women that you know and who are in your life who have experienced domestic violence, can tell you that it most certainly is a crime. But this isn't just some coincidence, and this isn't just Donald Trump not caring about women's rights. Donald Trump and the far right actively are opposed to women's rights. Donald Trump is responsible for rolling back the right to abortion in the United States, and do not think that that is not coming here too. Nigel Farage's original 4 MPs, one of them was a convicted wife-beater as well, and Nigel Farage said that that fact was totally irrelevant. And I guess you would also think that it's totally irrelevant that 40% of the people who have been arrested for racist violence last year in the riots against asylum seekers were also people known to the police with a history of domestic violence. Do you realize how many times more likely than the average person in the population those people out on those demonstrations against refugees are to be wife beaters? It's enormous. But despite the fact that women's rights organizations have begged our government to push back against the false narrative that is being spread that portrays asylum seekers as a threat to women, as opposed to the far right as the true threat to women, they have been utterly silent. They have totally failed to condemn this. And again, it's worse. They're not just ignoring women's rights. They are honoring the man who is absolutely at the core of destroying and degrading women's rights. 1 week from today, Donald Trump will touch down in the UK, and he will be wined and dined and given the red carpet treatment by Keir Starmer and the King. Just after he has said, and his White House had doubled down on the fact, that domestic violence, a man beating up a woman in her own home, is not a crime.
What more can I add to that? It's a very scary future right now. You know, we have trans people's rights have been put under threat, and the possibility of women's rights are being put under threat as well. And if you think women should be concerned about Reform UK, they should be, because their rights could very well be put under threat with a Reform UK government as well. So it's a very scary time indeed. I'm not going to play the rest of these ones here. So guys, today is a very important day. It is World Suicide Prevention Day. And while I am doing a mental health live stream tomorrow, today I know many of you have been through quite a bit, going through some of these topics, especially on a day like this. It's really important to understand that we all go through a lot, and I'm going to play these videos for you guys here, some of these videos here, before we go to a funny video to see ourselves out, because we are going to end with laughter, because laughter cures a lot of things. But I want you to hear some of these videos today on World Suicide Prevention Day. I would love to share the one from All Elite Wrestling, but I tried to last time and YouTube took it down, which really upset me. I would love to show you the one from YouTube, but I can't, from AEW, but I can't because YouTube will take it down. But I do have some ones here for you guys.
If you think someone you know is considering suicide, here's how you can support them. First, take it seriously. If you're worried, it's okay to ask. You can say, I care about you. Are you thinking about taking your own life? Talking about suicide does not put the idea in someone's head. The most important thing is to listen. You don't have to fix it. Just being there matters. Encourage them to get help. Offer to sit with them whilst they contact a crisis line or a local health service. Or you can accompany them to an appointment. Check in with them to see how they are doing. And don't forget, you need support too. Looking after your mental health is just as important. At the end of the day, reaching out can save a life.
Very well said. It can indeed. I'm gonna recommend Stephen Banker. This might be tough for you because it may be distressing to some viewers, but I'm going to share this with you guys. But you didn't see that one coming, did you? You thought it was the quiet person, didn't you? But no, it wasn't. So I know that was going to be brutal. So I really did not want to cry on the live stream, guys, because I don't want to be seen to that. But yeah. Yeah, let's play this one because this one's a good one.
In 2016, shortly after my father passed away, one night I sat for hours on a blow-up bed in my dealer's spare room where I was living, drunk and high, crying uncontrollably, trying to decide how I'd take my own life. Today's a very special day for people that have taken their own lives. And if I'm honest, one day you will never be enough, but it's quite personal to me. I've never really spoken to my friends or my family about it, only like this or to professionals, but I've sat with my demons and I've wanted to leave with them. I've hated myself in the past so much that I wanted to hurt myself. I've been so lost and alone that I didn't think anyone would care. So I know, people think, how can you get there? I know, I got there before. And it was one of my worst rock bottoms. There was many more after that. Me and Shelley had just broke up. She was pregnant with our first child. The pressure of all of that, my dad passing away, I lost my TV career. There was shame, guilt, embarrassment. I was high all the time in destruction, addiction. Somehow, and I believe it was my father, in the midst of all that, of thinking and feeling those thoughts and wanting to take my own life, I managed to pull the strength together to call the Samaritans that night. And there was a woman on the end of the phone that saved my life. She gave me perspective. I instantly felt better from simply talking. She set me on a path of recovery and healing, and I started counselling back then. It took me 5 more years to get sober and even longer to sort my head out, but I'm at peace now. I still have problems and stress and issues and bouts of depression, but I know how to deal with it. I've been given the tools, and because of that, my kids have a father. In fact, I have 2 more kids since then. I've got another one on the way. I also shared my journey, and because of that, I've connected with people, and I've set up a group on Facebook called Men and Their Emotions with 60,000 lads in it, all talking about their mental health. You can post anonymously, and it's now a mental health charity. And we've got 50 of these one-off jumpers with powerful words on the front. Have a look at that. Being here is braver than giving up. And on the back, your next chapter matters. And the money that I raise from these are going to go towards counselling for lads. Money I've already raised is already going towards counselling for lads. So please go and join my group and ask for help. We still use the terminology committed as if it's a crime. It's not, it's a cry for help, and often the loudest and the last one anyone will make. It has to stop. We owe it to those that we've lost and are still here to do better, to talk louder and to show up for each other every single day. You don't have to suffer in silence. Get it out of your head and talk to someone. You can call the Samaritans on 116 123 or the Proprius Hope line on 0800 068 4141, or you can go join my group if you're a man and you want to get in control of your emotions. Go join the conversation at Men and Their Emotions. We can't bring back people that we've lost, but together we can stop more families feeling the pain of losing someone. Please share this far and wide. Could save someone's life. If you would like one of these special jumpers that we've created today, there's only 50 of them up for sale. Every penny will go towards counselling for lads or putting together dry houses to help lads suffering with addiction that can't afford help. It will truly go towards saving lives and support the Men and Their Emotions charity. All you've got to do is head over to the link in my Instagram bio or on my story, ping me a DM or check the group.
So yeah, Daniel O'Reilly there. Let's make a difference. Let's stop people choosing to leave us. Join Men and Their Emotions on Facebook, and there's also Samaritan's number at 116123, which is free 24/7, by the way. And there's Pariah's Hope Line at 247 at 0800 068 4141 there, guys. Yes. Yeah, crying on camera. Damn it. Finally, after all these years, I finally cracked it, guys. Finally cracked it. Yeah, I've tried very hard not to, but yeah, that video, it has. It's not the first time it's made me cry. So, but guys, like I said, we were not going to end in somber and that. We're going to end with laughter because that's the most important thing, guys. Because laughter cures a lot of things. And who's better to make us laugh and make us to bring us laughter than the one and only Maggie Reed? You can't go wrong with Maggie Reed, guys. You just can't go wrong with her. So here she is, making an absolute tosser out of Caroline Levitt at one of her press conferences here. So take it away, Maggie.
Caroline, Christian over here. Does the White House have an official statement on Donald Trump's birthday card to Jeffrey Epstein?
The president did not write this letter. He did not sign this letter.
Okay, well, his signature is like right here.
It is not Donald Trump's signature.
Okay, well, that's not true. Have you seen the comparison signatures of Donald Trump's first name only around the exact same time that the birthday card book was made? They're like the exact same. Take a look. I mean, we could always go get it professionally analyzed. Would you guys be open to that?
Sure, we would support that. And in fact, I have already seen many forensic analysts of signatures coming out. I believe it was the Daily Signal that published a piece with 3 separate signature analysts who said that this absolutely was not the president's authentic signature.
The Daily Signal? You mean the conservative commentary news website that was started by the Heritage Foundation? Yeah, I'm sure they're real objective. Also, there is no such article. They never published anything like that. You're such a liar. Also, all credible news sources are saying that it's totally his signature. Just admit it, bitch. It's his signature.
The president has one of the most famous signatures in the world, and he has for many, many years. You know that, Maggie. You've covered him for a long time.
I have, and that's how I know for a fucking fact that he's the one that signed it.
It is absolutely not. The president did not sign that.
Yes, he did.
It is not Donald Trump's signature.
Yes, it is. Caroline, where you going? I thought we were having fun. You run away, bitch. Your boss is a file. Caroline.
You fucking bastard, Donald. You can't fucking hide the truth from us. We know he's in the Epstein files. We know he's in the Epstein files, guys. You can't fucking get away with it. You can't get fucking away from it. Caroline defending in the defense of all the impossible. That's not Trump's signature. It looks like his signature. It's like the same with all his signatures, but it's not his signature. They're all the same. We've had it compiled with the Daily Signal that analyzed it. Analyzed a fucking signature that looks like the same of all other Donald Trump signatures. Every time he holds up an executive order and he puts the book up in front of everyone, it's the exact same signature, right? But you know, people will will try to make out that it's not. He used an auto pen like Biden. So it was an auto pen. No. So technically it wasn't Trump. It was the auto pen. He signed enough bills, everyone recognizes his signature. Yeah, they do indeed. Dear. Guys, can't believe we actually went over an hour and a half based on the footage that I had. But I want to say thank you guys all for coming along here. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you for Mithril for the super chat. for tonight as well. So I got something out of this, some finance out of this live stream tonight. Much appreciated for that. I really do. Thank you so much for that, guys. Just a quick reminder, there is tomorrow's live stream at 11 a.m. with another Good Morning show. There is the mental health live stream that I'll be doing tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Do join me for that. I have content dropping, shorts and long videos dropping over the next couple of days. Can I encourage you all guys to please check them out for me and leave me your feedback and comments on them. It would be greatly appreciated, guys. If you can check out some of those videos, I would really helpful. But I really appreciate you guys coming out tonight, and I appreciate you guys listening to those for the those videos, especially at the end. I know obviously we're talking about what's happening in the Middle East. It's been brutal, and obviously I would say today it's been a wave of emotions. I think it's been fair to say, but I appreciate you guys sticking with me through all that there. And yeah, I really appreciate all you guys' support. I have so much wrestling content to deal with tomorrow, and I'm going to try to navigate around it while also doing the 2 live streams as well, guys. So there will be no after chat tonight, but I probably am going to do an after chat after tomorrow's night's live stream, most likely. But before you guys head out, if you can, hit the like button, share this across social media, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Do check out Rumble and Patreon as well for exclusive content on either of those platforms. I'm covering US content on Patreon, and I'm covering additional Middle East coverage on Rumble as well. So do check out both of them as well. Be greatly appreciated. And if you want to finally support me and the work that I do here on this channel, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. So thank you all again so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very soon.